Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and this is your stimulus check update for the next stimulus package for Friday, February 5th. I hope everyone's off to a good and safe start to their Friday so far, and that you all have a wonderful weekend ahead. In this video, I'll be discussing updates in regards to the current relief package and the third stimulus check. I'll also be discussing the $1,400 direct payments, the vote-a-rama taking place in the Senate, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you would remember real quickly, liking this video, give me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so the vote-a-rama brought a full night and early morning of proposed amendments, with even more to come. Some of the more interesting amendments proposed and passed so far was one basically asking Biden to reconsider not canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. This was by a vote of 52 to 48, with Democrat Senators Manchin and Tester joining Republicans. Additionally, there was another amendment brought up in order to oppose raising the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour during a pandemic. Surprisingly enough, Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders said he supports this amendment because he'd rather go with his plan, where it would raise the minimum wage over 5 years rather than right away. So it sounds like the measure that would increase the federal minimum wage up to $15 per hour is more than likely not going to end up being in the reconciliation bill. Senator Ron Paul had a whole list of proposed amendments, many of which I think you guys will like. You can see Paul's list of amendments up on the screen, many of which include money for U.S. infrastructure rather than sending aid to other countries. Another amendment offered during the vote-a-rama from Senator Whitehouse was to eliminate vote-a-ramas altogether. Funny. The group also voted on provisions regarding the next round of direct payments. The first amendment, which passed, was whether or not to block stimulus checks to undocumented immigrants. The other amendment offered was to bar upper-income taxpayers from receiving the next round of relief payments. This measure passed with overwhelming bipartisan support by a vote of 99 to 1. Only Senator Ron Paul rejected to this amendment. Of course, no official income number was actually given, but it's quite clear that Democrats, nor Republicans, wish to have people earning $300,000 per year receiving these payments. In a statement, Joe Manchin said, quote, "I don't think a single person on this floor would disagree to target the relief to our neighbors who are struggling. There are other families who have not missed a single paycheck as a result of this pandemic. It does not make sense to send a check to these individuals." So it looks like the next round of direct payments, as expected, will probably end up being more targeted after all. At the moment, rumors at the White House have it that the next round will be targeted to single individuals earning $50,000 per year, head of households earning $75,000 per year, and married couples earning $100,000 per year. Now, these aren't official numbers since the bill hasn't even been written yet, but it is just being speculated. By this weekend, it is expected that the Senate and the House will pass the budget resolution, which will unlock the next process of sitting down and actually writing the reconciliation bill. At that point, we'll have a much better idea of everything that will be included. Also, Senator Mitt Romney proposed another bill on Thursday which would provide at least $3,000 per child to millions of American families, which is also something expected to have bipartisan support. For children under the age of 6, parents would receive $4,200 per year, and kids between the ages of 6 and 17 would receive $3,000 per year. Now, in the $1.9 trillion stimulus proposal currently being drafted, they also have a similar measure already. However, in Romney's plan, he would be eliminating temporary assistance for needy families, in addition to other federal tax credits for children and working families. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Okay, so, again, none of these amendments proposed or approved in the vote-a-rama really mean anything. None of these will end up becoming a law immediately. All they are is a form of messaging and something they can use against each other during their campaigns. However, it is a necessary step for whatever reason they had to take in order to pass the budget resolution. The budget resolution simply allows Democrats to pass their reconciliation bill with a simple majority of 51 votes, rather than the 60 votes that's usually required. Starting next week, again, this bill should be written and possibly amended several times before it's voted on and passed through both chambers. At the moment, it's the hope by Democrats that they're able to pass this bill by early March, This means if they're able to pass it by early March, the next round of direct payments should be sent out around the middle of March. Again though, there are no guarantees here, but considering Democrats have complete control in Washington, this package should have no problems whatsoever in passing. The only question at this point is when, and worst case scenario, in my opinion at least, it'll pass in late March. More than likely though, as I mentioned, considering unemployment benefits expire on March 14th, Democrats will aim to have this pass through both chambers and on President Biden's desk by the 7th of March. With that said, while we wait on our lawmakers to push this reconciliation bill through, all we can continue to do is hang in there, stay strong, and hope for the best. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to move right along to answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you do have any other comments or questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to answer as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can. Both of those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to. I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video, which is from Mars. Mars says, "Hey Josh, why don't our leaders agree on a standalone bill?" Okay, thank you so much for your comment, and that's actually a really good question. Early on, there was speculation that they would agree to some type of standalone bill, or a skinny one, that would be bipartisan, centering around a third round of direct payments in addition to aid for vaccines. However, for whatever reason, the White House officials came out and said they had no interest in breaking up legislation into multiple bills. Instead, they wanted to include all the aid into one package, which really doesn't make too much sense. If they had decided to do a standalone bill for stimulus checks, they could have had that passed early on, and then decided to do a bigger reconciliation package later on. Okay, moving along to the next comment of today's video, which is from Allison. Allison says, "Will the income for the stimulus be based on 2019 taxes or 2020 taxes?" Okay, thank you so much for your question, Allison, and the next round of direct payments will be based off your 2019 tax returns. However, if you earned too much income in 2019 to qualify, but your income dropped off in 2020, then you can always file a tax return this year and claim your money. So, for example, if you made $2 million in 2019, which would have made you ineligible for the first and second direct payments, but you only made $20,000 in 2020, then you could claim $1,800 in credits on the tax returns that you file this year. This $1,800, of course, is the total amount from the first two direct payments. Then, if they pass the $1,400 relief payments before you go to file your tax returns, you can claim an additional $1,400 in credits on top of that. Okay, moving along to the next comment of today's video, which is from Odali. Odali says, "Hello Josh, I have a problem with the IRS. I am disabled and I didn't receive my stimulus check for $600. I called the IRS several times and I cannot get a response. I believe that someone had entered my account with the IRS. In the other stimulus package, I had problems. It took almost 2 months to get my check, and in this case, someone stole my information. Now, I'm afraid that the situation is the same. I changed my bank account number, but my routing number is the same. What can I do? Thank you." Okay, thank you so much for your question, and I'm so sorry for everything that you've gone through so far. Now, if you feel like you've been a victim of fraud, I would definitely reach out to the IRS to see where you should proceed from here. I'd also recommend checking credit cards, bank statements, etc., just to make sure that you recognize all of the transactions. As far as your next direct payment goes, if you change bank accounts since receiving your first one, more than likely you'll need to claim the $600 as a credit on the tax returns that you filed this year. For the first round of direct payments, if a bank rejected your payment because of an account closure or some other reason, they would send it back to the IRS. At that point, the IRS would then reprocess your payment and send you a check in the mail instead. However, this time around, the IRS is saying that if you've changed banks, they won't be sending you a check in the mail, and instead, you'll need to claim the $600 as a credit on the tax returns that you filed this year. However, I have seen some people in the comments claim they have changed banks, but for whatever reason, they're still getting a check in the mail, so there is always hope. With that said, if you don't get it by the middle of next week, I would recommend that you go ahead and claim the $600 as a credit on the tax returns you filed this year. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you'd like to receive 4 free socks from Weeble, with 2 of them valued all the way up to $1,600 each, or 1 free sock from Robinhood just for signing up and linking your bank account, please feel free to claim those free socks by clicking the link in the description box below. And finally, if you join Rakuten with my referral link in the description box below and spend at least $20, Rakuten will give you $20 cash back. This means you could buy an item through Rakuten with one of their referral links, such as Nike, for $20, which would be right around $22 after tax, and Rakuten will give you $20 just for making that purchase. This is just an incredible deal that I would love for everyone to take advantage of. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.